How's it going, guys? My name's Shasfoud.
Okay, fuck. Can we just redo that?
How's it going, guys? My name's Shasfoud, and this is Rigpop 420. He's kind of a big name in the Battlerite community, and today we're going to be doing a champion discussion. This is going to be unscripted footage. I'll probably edit it out, edit certain parts out, but let's just get started. So we both have the stats in front of it, and there's been a lot of discussion, especially on the Steam forums, about how overpowered she is, and we're just going to talk about that. So, what are your overall thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, first of all, I should definitely probably introduce myself. How's it going, guys? My name is Rigpop, and when it comes to Pearl, I think there is one fundamental issue that people see with her, and it's the fact that she is close to unkillable in situations. I think that's definitely the biggest problem for people. She is a very, very, very strong character. Not to the point where, she is broken, but to the point where she can be very painful to deal with.
I think the biggest issue people have with her is throughout all kinds of games, League of Legends, Overwatch, is people often correlate annoying with overpowered characters are typically going to be very annoying, especially to play against. But then they also correlate, which is mean that they correlate annoying with overpowered. So when you see a character that's annoying, like Bastion or Torbjorn in Overwatch or Teemo in League of Legends, they think, oh, they must be overpowered. But it's more of just they're really annoying to fight against. Now, Pearl is very slippery. Like with people always say that her dive is the most overpowered thing ever, but it has a 10-second cooldown and it only deals 10 damage. It's really not that overpowered.
I don't even think that that's the powerful thing about her. I think the most powerful thing about her would be her E and her bubbles. Especially if you run the bubble Battlerite that makes it so she can put out a second one if you hit her counter. Like that's the problem with her, because think about it. When you use that bubble, number one, your teammates can still run through it and shoot through it, while the enemies are their abilities are slowed and do less damage inside of it. So it's really you can just block you can block out your teammates and save them very easily. Plus, when she's by herself in a 1v2 situation, and this is coming from experience with playing a lot of people that do play her. And for example, the person I play duo queue with, he just plays Pearl, and we win most of our matches because even when I die, he can win by himself, even in a 2v1, because she's so versatile with the way she can just escape so easily. Her counter is really good because it puts out extra bubble, especially because people run a really offensive build on her. And then the fact that then she has a lot of self-heal as well, which is just ridiculous when you think about it. But I don't think you should associate the word overpowered with her, because she isn't. I don't think there's many characters in this game that can be called overpowered, because think of it this way. Have you been able to defeat at least once every character in this game? You probably have, because you will always lose or win against a character. But of course, there are people that can push out more of each character and play them to a higher extent. I mean, you don't see much Pearl in professional play as you see Lucy and somebody that people usually when I started playing, I thought Lucy was horrible. I thought who can actually play this girl? She's so weak. But then I noticed, never mind. She has her panic. Her panic is powerful as shit.
Yeah, that panic is
exactly.
Very annoying.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Associating her with the word overpowered just doesn't work. It's ridiculous in my opinion. I think people are just over exaggerating when they said that she's too powerful. In my opinion.
All right. Now let's get into kind of the Battlerite overall. So her tier 1 Battlerite are all very nice. Like, I'll usually pick between either Ocean Sage, because it's kind of like the lunatic for old Sirius, and you can block off people. It's just like, okay, you're not allowed to shoot us through this. Or you can get like Power of the Deep, which is also really nice because her EX ability for her M1 that charges her weapon isn't really good, because it has a nice 1 second charge up time, which can definitely create some issues. So any way to get that charge without using that EX can really be beneficial. But Power of the Deep and Ocean Sage are really nice. But I also see, in your videos, you covered using Fountain to heal, because it can really help, especially if they're trying to focus you and the enemy.
Exactly. I don't know how, when it comes to our battle rights, I see too many, like, people aren't really building, and this is what happens with a lot of the supports. I feel like people aren't building them as supports. Like, they've made the support. I mean, this is something that I think is both it's a double-edged sword for Battlerite. It's like they've made supports more than just supports. Because when you think of supports in like MOBAs or generally in gaming, when you think of support, you think of World of Warcraft, playing a priest. Nobody likes playing priest because nobody wants to be the healer. Everybody wants to be the guy who does the most damage, the guy who gets the kills. That's what people want to be. So that's what they want to be known as. You know what I mean? But League of Legends, nobody wants to play support. Everybody hates going support. That's why it's so. That's why you get rewarded for playing support in League, and you get a chance
of get preferential queue.
Exactly, you do because people don't like playing it. And what this game has done is something beyond any other game. They've made healing, and this is something that also Overwatch has done to an extent, but not. I mean, they've done it really well, but there's some characters that aren't as fun. For example, Mercy can really be the most brain dead thing to play. I mean, you just literally spam your. I mean, okay, this might be a dumb thing to say because there are all people out there going to say, oh, what are you saying? Or, Mercy's hard to play. I mean, I'm just saying this out of experience for somebody who hasn't played much Overwatch, but just the way I felt when I played Mercy, I felt pretty brain dead. I was just like switching heal between who was low and who wasn't.
A good Mercy can definitely
a good Mercy. That's what every game. That's what every game, bro.
There's a video of like someone with like 14 hours of Mercy experience, and he is just beyond amazing. Like swapping between, like he's getting kills and stuff, but also healing.
Exactly, but then again, that's somebody bringing out everything out of a character, and I mean, you see this from people in Battlerite as well. I mean, for example, take an example as Lucy. I mean, I don't know if you played her when you just started playing the game, but if you look at people that are high ranks, those who play her, or saying, for example, Paloma, they can play these supports at a higher level than what they actually might seem like for somebody that's down at like a lower grade who doesn't fundamentally understand the character.
Yeah, so when you look at like when it's someone who's brand new to the game starts fighting against a Pearl, and the Pearls, I mean, when I first started playing and I was playing against new players too, I was like, I could easily most of the 2v1 situations with Pearl I was playing, not right now that I'm going up against more experienced players, but it used to be very easy to 1v1. She's kind of like Teemo. She's just really annoying, and you just get really aggressive against her.
She kind of looks like him. And she kind of looks like him.
Just annoying little, this is so easy, and it's just, you want to murder the thing.
I know, but that's, again, like I said, it's just this game has sort of found a balance where it can make supports both do damage but also heal, and that kind of it both, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It makes it fun, it makes supports playable and people want to play it, but at the same time what it makes an issue is the fact that you make supports powerful. Do you not see, like I mean, it's kind of obvious that you make them able to do damage and healing. It's like, it's so ridiculous because I mean, you compare, like, take Ashka versus a Pearl. Ashka can't heal himself. He can have a bit of a shield from his space, or if he is running certain Battlerite, or maybe he uses this EX space, when he gets the, what is it called again, the green fire, I can't remember exactly, that infernal thing, where he turns green and he has a bit of a shield on him. That's the only thing that can really shield him from losing health, while Pearl can just spam her M2 and get health back, you know what I mean?
Stands there, and like, if you leave a healer alone, they're coming back at really high health. I mean, despite the health cap. There's definitely, I will agree with one of the things I agree with on the Steam forums is that there's a very big support meta, kind of like League of Legends has a huge tank meta problem, that if you just build some health, then you're pretty much unstoppable. But in this game, it's, if you're playing a support, you're pretty much unstoppable. And it's like, I main Older, he's my best character, and not only can he heal like crazy, but also he gets to redirect like Jade M2s right back at them, and because their cooldowns are very similar, you can pretty much do it every time. And it definitely,
I know exactly what you mean, but here's what I thought about that you mentioned, and that's the fact that, like, how would I explain this? I noticed this within when I played what was it again? I played Shifu, and I was playing a normal match. My teammates, we was doing a 3-3, and we didn't have a single support in our team. It was a full-on damage team. The enemy team had a single Paloma. We lost both our first rounds, and the enemies had close to full health the whole round. both the rounds.
Yeah.
And I realized, I was like, wait a minute. And this is something I've also realized, but because people do this really weird mistake when they play the game. And it's kind of, I don't even know which works better anymore at this point. But I feel like you never should focus the support. Like, I've sort of run with that for a while now, to never focus the support, because just think about it. The support can heal themselves, and they have escapes. And take an escape like, Lucy's ability to panic you, and boom, you're screwed. Then she can go heal herself. So what's the point of attacking her? You're wasting your M1s, your right clicks, your whatever ability you're using. You're wasting it on the support. Or you can use it on somebody like, let's say if they have a Jamung in their team. You go for Jamung instead. You use it, your abilities in a more reasonable way instead of wasting them on a support. But I always felt like, which do you actually do? Because I noticed it with a lot of, when I play on my viewers account where I'm grade 9, when I play there, I noticed that like all the fucking people I play with are like, focus the support. I'm like, why? I mean, I get it if it's a support like Paloma that can easily be taken out, because she has her panic and her ability to escape. But if you catch her, she's screwed. You know what I mean? Especially if you get her by herself. But then you have somebody like Pearl. Even if there's 2 people on her, she can still fucking escape. She's so powerful. You know what I mean? She can escape. Same thing with Sirius. He can heal himself a lot. He can petrify you. He can be a real pain in the ass. You know what I mean? And it's like, who do you really focus? Do you focus the support like these kids say down there in grade 9, or do you do like what people up in grade 13, 12 say, which is like, just pick the one that's by himself. That's their motivation. Like when I ask who to focus, their goal is like, just pick the one that's by himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important to remember that. I mean, of course, like, if you leave like a support and his ally alone, they're gonna be full health by the time that you start attacking them again. Like the strategy for fighting Paloma is to get between them, because she's the only healer that can't just right click and heal. I'm probably thinking like a ranked 9 when I say that you can definitely focus the support, because when their healing's gone, then they're definitely more vulnerable. But also, yeah, taking care of the damage dealer is always important.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering about. Like, which do you... Because I don't get it, though. I don't get it. Which is... Because when I'm reading, like, for example, I don't know if you've checked out... I can't remember exactly what the website is called, but it's one of those websites that is, like, spurred up now with the rise of Battlerite, that talks about, like... I'm actually going to find a website, and I'll explain what I mean. But basically, the website talks about, like, what you should do, fundamental rules, like, top 5 rules you should think about before you play Battlerite. And one of them was, don't focus the support. And another one was, like, there is no tanks in Battlerite. You might think some characters have slightly more health, but there's no tanks. So don't think of this game as tanks.
20 health difference.
Exactly, and that's just jack shit in reality. I mean, it's a tiny amount. Plus, the characters who do have a little bit of more health have slightly less damage as well.
Definitely, I think when you're going up against a tank and a healer and a support, you should probably be focusing the support, because the tank in quotes isn't really doing much damage. So it's like, hey, as long as we can take care of their healing source, then it's just a quick kill on that. So if I'm going like against a Rukon and a Paloma, I'll usually try to take out the Paloma. Remember, there are characters that are like made to focus the support. There are characters that are made to focus tanks and stuff. Like Croak, the objective of Croak is just to get in there, kill the support, and then while your other characters are fighting the other enemies.
True. I just remember the website Battlecrank. That's where they talked about it. Yes, .com. I remember that they talked about it there. They mentioned that, like, for example, Battlerite doesn't have tanks. That's kind of obvious. Like, we don't have tanks in this game. They're non-existent, which I like, because then you don't have to have that, like, it's just drawn out more if you have tanks. It just makes it drawn out, and if one team doesn't have a tank, the other team is instantly in disadvantage. You know what I mean? It's instantly a disadvantage for them, because having the tank go in there, being, balls deep, just doing a bit of damage and then backing out again, and you barely do anything to him by hitting him, and he still does a lot of damage to you. It kind of feels pointless having tanks. So I'm glad they don't have tanks in the game. But I think when it comes to supports, what they need to do if they want to balance them out, so they feel like, okay, I can actually take on a support without being afraid that the support will destroy me no matter what I do. I think what they need to do is lower the self-heal, because the self-heal is too high. Because when you can heal yourself at the same amount you heal your teammates, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with the Paloma buff, is definitely going to really help her because she's the only support that can't self heal, and she also has trouble taking orbs, so that can create a big issue with her. But back to the character we're supposed to be talking about, Pearl. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion on the Steam forums. Like, I'm every now and every like hour or so, I'm getting a new notification on Steam saying that someone's contributed to this discussion on the Steam forums. But back to when you were talking about not focusing the support. Just because a character is slippery doesn't mean that you shouldn't focus them, because it's kind of like it's like procrastinating. You're gonna but have to eventually take them out at one point. But I definitely know what you're saying. Like I played against this with this really salty person once that was like, I was like, okay, we need to focus this character, and he's like, you don't focus characters in Battlerite. I'm like, yeah, you do. And
Yeah,
he's
you
like,
do, because if you don't focus
like,
somebody down, I mean, when that's something I really, this is like what I mentioned, that people in high grades for some reason don't like, their motivation is like, just pick out the one that's by himself. It's like,
yeah,
really? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, you want to go for someone that you know you can take out. For example, here's a good example. I always focus if it's a match with Bacco and I'm playing Freya, which I do main. I only play her. I mean, I play her mainly. She is my main. I love her the most. And when I play against a Bacco, I always say, focus the Bacco, or leave me as a Freya against him while I tell my support to keep the other, if it's a 2v2, I keep the other person busy while I 1v1 this person. Or if this guy gets, pushed out by himself, hurry up, get to me, and let's do as much damage as we can. You know what I mean? So you already pick out before to who to focus. Well, when I play solo queue, the motivation is like just to pick whoever the fuck you want, whoever's by themselves. That's their motivation, which is kind of weird.
yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, if you know that you can get a kill off when the enemy's just away from their allies, then you definitely should be trying to get that kill. But also, if you're like fighting against a Pearl or someone who's really slippery and they're just like running circles around you, or if you're fighting against an Esmo, they're just gonna they're not really gonna care about, because then they're the ones in the advantage and you're the one that's being left at it. You're the straggler against the enemies. Yeah, overall, I don't know. I don't think that Pearl, in a sense, is really overpowered. She's definitely very strong, though. A nerf, I'm not sure if a nerf would really do much good with her, because obviously you're not seeing her in high rank, but you're definitely seeing her a lot in low rank. And with the new patch, 0.9, they did buff Croak, specifically stating that he was dominating in low rank, but wasn't seeing too much high rank. So that's why they did actually end up buffing him,
which was a kind of sensible buff. Plus, I feel like the buff really was there kind of also to help out against Esmo, because he does counter Esmo pretty decently. I've noticed just the way do you know how Esmo has the ability to just like recast his space. And the fun part about Croak is you can easily just use your space and recast it as well. And there is no way of him using that ability to, because when you recast it, what you do is you get your charges back up again, you know what I mean? So you can just spam 10 of his M1s. That's about like, what is it? 10. That's about 60 damage if you hit all of those, if I remember correctly, because it's 6 damage per hit. So that's a total of 10 times 60. That's 60 damage if you hit it. And that's a lot of damage if you hit all of them. Subtracting all the heals that the person might get and shields and that sort of shit. That's a lot of damage dealt. So I feel like they added that buff to him just so he can do that little bit extra damage to kind of counter players that or have the ability to escape easily or recast their escapes.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely. I mean, with supports being able to do crazy damage, it definitely creates an issue. Like older, if you just hit an enemy with Sands of Time, hit your E, and then hit them again, that's a good 50 damage, right? And that's a quarter of most enemies' health. But anyway, that's all for now. Don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And also, don't forget to check out Rigpop's video.
Peace.